I'm Jeffrey Rocoa. This is my Potter's Journal. Today we are going to look at a couple of kiln openings, but we're also going to talk about all important to the potter, pottery kiln. We'll do that as we go through the kiln. One of the topics will be replacing elements. And is there a cheaper method, cheaper way out than buying and replacing the elements? I've found one. Okay, another one is, small kiln, let's make it bigger. How can we do that? Okay, let's see what's in the kiln today and how we can get the most out of it. Cheaper than new elements. This kiln was free. There's the secret. I won't waste any time telling you. Now this one I did have to pay. I paid $100 for this one. So cheaper than new elements. But this one again was free. And this one I did have to pay $150 for. And this is the one we'll get a quick look. I just installed this one. And this one just hooked up because I just had a kiln go down. And I'm not going to show you all of this. Here's my Pittsburgh mugs. It's really more about the story. Just had a kiln go down. So this one was waiting in the wings. Waiting in the wings, all we had to do is attach the wire to the wall. And that's important too because I have a big show coming up. Slovene Fest with my Petitza and nut roll baking pans. This is the first firing out of a new kiln. I have to say I'm very disappointed. It's perfect. It's almost too perfect. It looks like it came out of a factory. So we'll have to do something about that. Maybe the bottom split open. No, it didn't. So no luck there. And what else is here? Oh, okay. And finally, I had some success with my, I forget now, semi-quincentennial. I almost forgot what it's called. And the flag pots. And this one is an L&L kiln. It sounds like it's one of the better made. I've never had one with the, extra refractory here protecting the coils. However, I've already found, taking the shelves in and out, that you can chip them and break them off. Now, I didn't do that. It came that way. But other than that, and it is pinned, otherwise the coils will sag and fall out and deteriorate. So, but other than that, it looks to be in good shape, and I don't think was fired all that much. It came from a blacksmith. Now, here's the only problem I came up with. My sea mist glaze from Standard Ceramics doesn't look like, it had time to mature, to gel, to, it's smooth and even, but the firing went very fast, and I think it needs a slower firing. So the only best thing I could think to do is put a blank ring in the kiln, which I have one from one of those other kilns. So we're going to try that and see what happens. And that's the second firing we will sneak into this video. Okay, I haven't made these plates, these slip-trailed plates this small. This is, about the size of my hand there. So, an alternative for when somebody is looking at the big one. And I did finally sell. This one, it just has the fireworks bursts, not the flag. And the fireworks burst in the summer. Finally did sell some of the flag ones. I was getting worried. Still a little bit because they all went pretty much to one person. And her friend got her one of the big ones. And she did recognize the center, which the others were more fireworks bursty. So, but fortunately I've got rid of, she got all the ones that had 2026. So I don't mind the 1776. These ones will be good every year on Independence Day. The 4th of July. But they did go for the horses, so I was quite pleased about that. So stay tuned. Fair time this year. Maybe we will do all kinds of animals. There may be a problem, though. I can't draw. I can't draw an animal that isn't flying. And here's that blank ring that we'll install on that kiln. It came with that kiln, but it was firing too long and slow, so that's why I took it out. So we'll see if adding that slows the firing and gives these guys a little richer color. And here, look at that. Oh, look at that. It has a split. Maybe you can see it. There, you can see it from this side. Okay, what happened? It's not too thin. I'm not used to that happening. So, what did I do wrong? Well, I think these will stay in the pottery and be hung very high on the wall. And cone 5-6 glazes, not sure what's wrong with the sea mist. There was no movement in the cone 6. Now, this is a different kiln. Unfortunately, I just threw out all the old cones, so I don't know what I was getting before. However, this is what I got out of the kiln sitter, with a slight bend in it. And this is the second firing that's better than the first firing. What I did was I sunk this further back on the sitter, so we got a little more temperature out of it. And on those, this is what we were getting before. So we did have a big bend in them before. We're a little bit cooler, of course. The kiln sitter can be adjusted, but I'm not about to do that. I think, yeah, we can work it out. First, we'll try the blank ring extension. Now, here I have been very lucky that I have lost very few of my Petitza pans because there is so much involved. First, in the making and forming that I've documented in a number of videos, and then in the decorating, some of them having up to 630 some dots. Okay, well that's all we're going to look at in this kiln load. We will move on to the next. Okay, we have bubble wrap there, so as not to hurt anything. And now, let's make this kiln 4 inches bigger. Everything lined up. We may have to do this again when we lift this on. And by just using parts sitting around from another kiln. Maybe we will need to get new elements put in a few of these now that there's so many here lined up. So we will be able to get an extra 4-inch shelf in there, 22 inches. However, that's still not as much as this old Olympic oval back here. This is, okay, about 25, 26 inches tall. It used to take a month or two to get enough pots to fill it. I think there's a big advantage of a smaller kiln that you fire once a week. I've been firing twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week when a show is coming up. Let's get this filled and unloaded so we can see in this video. No coming back. Let's find out now. And yes, the shutoff can be adjusted, but some of it still is going to be by feel. Now here, by keeping the cone out, okay, you can adjust it, and putting it in, you can adjust it, and pulling it a little bit one way or the other, you can adjust it, as well as resetting the shutoff. And there's that expansion joint to make the kiln bigger, and here it is, the first look at the first pots out of the new expanded kiln. And look at that, what a prize! Wow! But wait, what is this? there is a little speck of something in the glaze. Now that's not unusual for something coming off the top of the kiln, but here's another one. Another one. And another one. And they appear to be all over the place. Well, look at this. My cone pad exploded. I put these all through the kiln. I hope that didn't happen everywhere. I always make them wet and put them directly in the kiln. Well, I had a feeling this kiln was going up to temperature faster than my old ones. So I think that's what happened. I always put in fresh-made kiln packs, but not anymore with this kiln. And why would I take such a chance on a questionable firing with a new kiln on such a pot? Well, here's what happened. This is the second disappointment round with this one. This one had some terracotta blended in with the stoneware, and some of these, there was about 4 of them or more, cracked. So I thought, if that's going to happen, we will take the chance. But it did hold together, so okay, this time on that side, but not this time. Okay, and something else we're getting ready for too is our Slovene Fest here with the polka pots. Ah! There it is again. Another piece came down from the top shelf. And this festival is coming fast. I need these pots. Including, okay, this guy that comes down out of the Alps at the end of winter. You know, I did do a soak on this firing, and it went much slower. My sea mist problem is coming out a bit richer again and not as bland. So by putting the extra thing in the kiln, and I did put one of those grater things in the bottom of one of these silly little herb stripper things. So I think maybe we solved our sea mist problem, but we still have further to go in. Why they put the kiln sitter at the top of the kiln and not the middle? As I said, this is supposed to be a better kiln. There must be a reason. I don't know. Ah! This is still from that cone pack on the top shelf. And we did get the sea mist to show off the waves. Oh no, you know, I don't mind on the production wear, but here it is. Here it is on a beautiful plate. But the longer firing, we've got this coming out, the slip white over the white coming out translucent again compared to matte as it had been in a previous firing. These two are okay. The shots are okay. We'll see what happened with the cone pack on the bottom, and if this one actually, okay, drops stuff down to the next shelf. Oh, what a relief. This cone pack made it. You know, 8 years of putting in wet cone packs. We got the same temperature as on the top. So even with this extra spacer in the kiln, and big sigh of relief. Big sigh of relief. We're looking good here. And the kiln seems to be firing evenly, top through bottom. So we're doing good that way. I have a bigger kiln, something I've needed for a long time. I probably need to take a sweeper and vacuum out the element grooves, because something could have exploded and got stuck in there. A new kiln. I just refurbished my shelves. Now I have to take the sweeper to it on day 1. So it does look like we had about the same top, middle, bottom, except the bottom, and there was no fire in here, warped backwards. It's in the same as the others. What's that all about? Okay, and you know, something else I hadn't thought of, that Standard has had to reformulate the sea mist, and I do have it looking good here, but they have had to reformulate it because of changing supplies. Now, I don't know why it can't be reformulated better. Maybe it is. I don't know. Some of the pots over the past half a year may have been from different batches. This one is over a lighter clay and a specked clay, and I thought that's why I didn't like it, but it could be that this was mixed up, either at the end of last year or the beginning of this, so it could be not necessarily the length of fire, but, okay, no disasters here. Oh, am I glad. The tulip with the snowflake pattern doesn't seem to be as popular as the flower bursts, or whatever we call, well, they're calling flower bursts for the 4th of July, but other times of the year they're just floral bursts. So I didn't want to lose this one because I don't do that many with the tulip as a floral snowflake. Alright, so we have got a new kiln. It's bigger than I've had before. I can rush through more pots fast when I need to. And here is the pink shadow from Standard. In this kiln, it is coming out perfectly, which it hasn't done in others. And interesting enough, on the specked clay, why is the body on this and the hazelnut coming out lighter than in other firings? Here it is from another firing, a little bit darker clay. This is an oxidation kiln. Why does that happen? So I opened today's video with some alternative thinking. Cheaper than replacing elements on your kiln, pick up a new one for practically nothing. However, here I'm going to do the same thing again. Very disappointing. Very disappointing. Losing pieces, exploded kiln packs. It would save a lot of time if I just made a dozen or two up at one time. I don't mind losing the production piece, small one. Oh, but this one. Now the alternative thinking here is, I know what you're going to say. Maybe grind it. Okay, a dab of glaze, reglaze it. But why waste time and resources? Make another one. Okay, stop back and see what's going on in the studio next week.